OnePlus Nord 2T review. Quick performance make it superb value for money. If you're in the UK or Europe, the OnePlus Nord 2T is the best mid-range phone you can buy for under £400 per €400. Great battery life, super fast charging, a 90Hz OLED screen, and quick performance make it superb value for money. But only 2 Android software updates isn't good enough. The OnePlus Nord 2T is very similar to 2021's Nord 2, but that doesn't stop the newer version from being one of the best mid-range phones you can buy. The 2T adds faster 80W charging and a newer processor for a lower starting price than before. It shows how far smartphone technology has come that the Nord 2T is so good I'd recommend most people should buy it over the £799 per $899 per €899 OnePlus 10 Pro. It costs half as much but does most things just as well. It's not a sonic leap forward for OnePlus by any means, but if you are looking to upgrade your phone and are on a budget, the Nord 2T should be close to the top of your list. This is a svelte and thin 190 grams device despite the relatively large screen, which is flat unlike many premium devices that opt for curved edge displays. The back of the phone is glass with a large and unusual camera unit that houses 2 large black discs. The clean look of the mint green Jade Fog model I reviewed was spoiled by the regulatory markings, logos, and writing at the bottom, but this isn't unusual for phones in Europe. The glossy finish picks up fingerprints and smears, but it does make the phone grippy enough to hold and use without a case, though there's a decent opaque matte case in the box that doesn't get prints at all. I haven't used the matte black gray shadow model that's also available. Neither model is particularly inspiring in its design, but if you chuck it in a case it doesn't really matter. The Nord 2T's 6.43 inches screen is a 20:9 AMOLED with a resolution of 1080x2400 that can refresh at up to 90 Hz. This makes animations, apps and menus scroll smoother than the standard 60 Hz, which you can set the display to if you prefer it or want to save battery life. OnePlus's auto brightness settings are very good here and calibrate the backlight to the right level most of the time. I barely had to manually readjust. More premium phones, and even some mid-range phones, have 120 Hz displays that look even better, but the 90 Hz here is decent. The panel gets plenty bright, and text looks clear and sharp, even through the plastic screen protector that comes pre-applied. The downward-firing speaker pairs with the earpiece to create a stereo pair. They are not that great. Calls sound crisp and clear when on the phone through the earpiece, but if you try and blast music through the speakers it sounds tinny and muddy with bad separation of sounds. Podcasts sound okay, but this isn't a phone to get if you use phone speakers a lot. This is the first phone to ship with MediaTek's Dimensity 1300 processor. That might not mean much to you, but don't worry, it's good news. Many OnePlus phones, and many Android phones in general, use Qualcomm's Snapdragon range of chips, but the 1300 is excellent. I forgot this was a £369 phone because it feels and performs like an £800 phone. If you want to indulge in long gaming sessions, this phone is more than capable, especially if you fork out for the 12GB version. Unless you want to tax your phone to within an inch of its gaming performance life, you could definitely opt for the Nord 2T rather than the best gaming phones. It's whip-fast in daily use, and I experienced 0 issues after well over a week using the phone as my main device. There were no app crashes, and the hardware could more than keep up as I multitasked between podcast and music, camera, browser and other things on the go, all while connected to Bluetooth headphones. Simply put, the Nord 2T has 4 cameras, but only 2 of them are great. Thankfully, they are the 2 you would use the most, the main camera and the selfie camera. The former is a 50MP Sony IMX766 sensor that takes superb shots in daylight, just like it did as the main sensor in the original Nord 2. It's also the sensor used in both main cameras of the Oppo Find X5 Pro. Photos are clear and crisp with decent dynamic range and sharpness. BBK Electronics owns both Oppo and OnePlus and recently decided to merge the software of both companies. It means OnePlus phones still run Oxygen OS, but it's now based on Oppo's Color OS with an Oxygen OS skin over the top. The Nord 2T runs incredibly quickly with Android 12 and Oxygen OS 12.1, but it looks a lot more like the Oppo Find X5 Pro than a OnePlus phone from a few years ago. OnePlus's shelf widgets are now accessed with a swipe from the top right, just like on iOS. You can turn this off. The Google feed is now a right swipe away on the home screen, and notifications come in as rounded rectangles that feel a lot more Oppo than classic OnePlus. It also borrows features from ColorOS, such as holding the fingerprint reader when unlocking to access shortcuts to apps and actions. There's also an always-on display option and a work-life balance mode that lets you control notifications and settings based on schedules, Wi-Fi networks, and location. This is another instance of doubling up on Google, as the phone has Android's digital well-being features that include a focus mode. For £369 in the UK and from €399 in Europe for 8GB RAM, 128GB storage, the Nord 2T is one of the best mid-range phones you can buy, even if it is practically identical in specs and performance to the older Nord 2. That is £30 less than that phone, but adds faster charging and a new processor and will get software support for a year longer. £100 per €100 more gets you more 12GB RAM and double the storage. You can buy it direct from OnePlus and Amazon in the UK and Europe. John Lewis will also soon stock it in the UK. The phone is not available in the US. Unless you really don't like the design of the cameras or can't stand the small changes to the software thanks to Oppo's influence, there aren't many reasons to pick another phone over the Nord 2T. I can forgive the poor quality of two of the cameras and the lack of wireless charging, but the main downside even at this price is only getting 2 platform updates and 3 years of security patches. Samsung phones at a similar price give you 5 years of support, even if they don't perform as well as the Nord.